welcome to our brand new show, Firstpost Spotlight, where we bring you stories that matter to you from all across the world. From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, we shed light on issues that shape our world. I'm Alison LaGrange, live from Durban, South Africa. Let's begin with the top headlines. Explosions echo in West Bank city of Jenin as Israeli military carry out anti-terror operations for the third day, raiding houses and other properties. Major U.S. tech moguls trade barbs over Donald Trump's $500 billion AI project named Stargate. Elon Musk slams OpenAI's Sam Altman over funding for the project. Britain monitors a Russian spy ship detected in the English Channel, vows to strengthen response to secret operations by Moscow in an effort to protect undersea cables. Senators in Pakistan demand an apology from billionaire Elon Musk, accusing him of anti-Pakistan propaganda as he seeks regulatory approval for his Starlink service in the country. And nearly 200 schools in Bangkok closed over air pollution as officials urge people to work from home and restrict heavy vehicles in the city. Hello and welcome. We begin with updates from the United States, where after signing a flurry of executive orders, President Donald Trump is shifting focus to foreign policy. And on top of his agenda is ending the Russia-Ukraine war. U.S. President Trump is stepping up pressure on his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin to reach a peace deal with Ukraine. Trump has threatened tougher taxes, tariffs and sanctions on Moscow if the war does not agree to end in the war.
You've called for a ceasefire in Ukraine. If Vladimir Putin doesn't come to the table to negotiate with you, will you put additional sanctions on Russia?
Sounds likely.
And do you think that the war should be frozen currently along
the war
current
should have
battle
never
lines?
started. If you had a competent president, which you didn't, the war wouldn't have happened. The war in Ukraine would have never happened if I were president. But that couldn't happen because the election was rigged.
In a post on Truth Social, Trump said he was not looking to hurt Russia and was doing Russia a big favor by offering it to settle and end the war. Trump warned, saying that the situation for Russia and its economy would only get worse if the war does not end, and that Vladimir Putin was destroying Russia. This so far has been Trump's toughest line on the Russian president since he returned to the White House this week. The U.S. president is seeking a quick solution to the war in the heart of Europe that will enter its fourth year next month. During his campaign, Trump had promised to end the conflict. Earlier, Trump also said that his office was preparing for a meeting with Putin. Russia already faces crushing U.S. sanctions since its invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Trump's predecessor, Biden, also imposed sweeping sanctions against Moscow's energy sector. The U.S. imported $2.9 billion worth of goods from Russia from January to November of 2024. This was down sharply from $4.3 billion in 2023 and $29.6 billion in 2021. The U.S. also imported $13.5 billion worth of Russian petroleum products in 2014, but this has fallen to zero after the Ukraine war-related sanctions. Now, top U.S. imports from Russia include fertilizers, uranium for nuclear power, palladium and rhodium used in automotive catalytic converters and other precious metals. Other top import categories include semi-finished steel and pig iron that have also fallen to zero. Reports say that Trump has instructed his special envoy, Keith Kellogg, to end the Ukraine war in 100 days, though his promised breakthrough to end the war within 24 hours of taking office has proved elusive. Interestingly, in his statements, Trump did not mention of providing additional weapons to Kiev. He even declined to say whether he could continue Biden's policy of sending billions of dollars in aid to help Ukraine. Instead, he called on the European Union to equalize with the U.S. in sending aid to Ukraine.
We'll look into that. We're talking to Zelensky. We're going to be talking with President Putin very soon, and we'll see how it all happens. We're going to look at it very soon. One thing I do feel, the European Union should be paying a lot more than they're paying, because under Biden, I mean, we're in there for $200 billion more. Now, it affects them more than it affects us. We have an ocean in between, right? Little thing called an ocean. The European Union should equalize. We're in there for $200 billion more than the European Union. I mean, what are we, stupid? I guess the answer is yes, because they must think so. But the European Union takes advantage of us tremendously on trade.
As Trump came to power, there were fears that it was Kiev rather than Moscow that he would strong-arm into making a peace deal. Trump said Ukraine's President Zelensky told him that he wanted a peace agreement to end the war. The negotiating positions of the two warring sides remain far apart. Some Ukrainians fear they could be forced to make massive concessions. Ukraine's term of a peace agreement include withdrawal of Russian troops, the restoration of Ukraine's territorial integrity, prosecution of Russian leaders for war crimes, security guarantees for Kiev, and the release of all Ukrainian prisoners. Vladimir Putin, on the other hand, has staked out a maximalist position for ending the war. Russia's demands include lifting of Western sanctions against Russia, retaining control of 4 regions annexed in Ukraine's east in 2022, regaining control of Crimea, and that Ukraine not join NATO and adopt a neutral status. It also wants Ukraine to undergo some level of demilitarization. For now, the Kremlin has signaled that it is no rush to sign the deal. This could possibly be because both Russia and Ukraine are trying to secure an upper hand in the war, with Trump pushing for a peace deal. A series of attacks in recent months have intensified the long bombing campaign by both sides, and they come at a time which is a precarious moment of the war. And moving on, in Los Angeles, a new fast-moving wildfire has stoked a fresh wave of panic in Southern California. Firefighting aircraft and ground crews are battling a fast-growing blaze in Hughes area in Los Angeles. Tens of thousands of residents were told to evacuate as authorities flagged immediate threat to life. Parts of Interstate 5 highway, a key lifeline for the state of California, was also closed down. Now, the region is already reeling from the most destructive fires in its history since earlier this month. Fueled by winds and dry conditions, the latest fire erupted in the Hughes area, located about 80 kilometers north of the city of Los Angeles. The new fire is located north of 2 mammoth blazes in LA that are still burning. The blaze grew to an area of over 10,000 acres by the evening of the 22nd of January and was approaching to engulf an area nearly the size of Manhattan. The Los Angeles authorities remain on edge. Now, that's because the area impacted by the latest wildfires borders several residential areas and schools. In a worrying sign for the residents, the fire department chief admitted that the current blaze remains a difficult one to contain.
The National Weather Service has extended the red flag warning through 10 a.m. on Friday for most of Los Angeles and Ventura counties. Light to moderate Santa Ana winds will continue tonight and into Thursday. The situation remains dynamic, and the fire remains a difficult fire to contain, although we are getting the upper hand.
To limit the damage due to the ongoing Hughes fire, authorities have taken several measures. Over 30,000 people are under a mandatory evacuation order, while another 23,000 have been warned that they may have to flee the area very soon. About 11,000 firefighters remain deployed to control the blaze. A prison in the area also evacuated nearly 500 inmates from the facility. Meanwhile, elsewhere in LA, the Palisades fire, which first erupted on the 7th of January, is 68% contained. Nearly 24,000 acres of area has been damaged in this blaze. The Eaton fire, which ignited hours after the Palisades fire, is over 90% contained. About 14,000 acres of area was damaged in this fire. Meanwhile, the fire in Hearst, which affected an area of about 800 acres, has also been contained. Other smaller fires that broke out on the 8th of January, including Kenneth, Archer, Lydia, Woodley, Olivia's, and the Sunset Hollywood Hills fires, have also been contained. A significant portion of Los Angeles has been ravaged by wildfires that first broke out on the 7th of January. So far, the fires have burned an area of over 40,000 acres. That's close to the size of Washington, D.C. At least 28 people have been killed. The blazes have damaged or destroyed nearly 16,000 commercial or residential structures, and reports have projected economic losses at more than $250 billion. Now, given the sheer scale of the economic losses in these wildfires, the Democrat-run state of California is looking toward federal funding for recovery, and thus at President Donald Trump. Later this week, President Trump is scheduled to visit California to review the damage. But before his visit, Trump has threatened to withhold federal aid to California amid the prevailing differences with Democrat leaders. Withholding aid or making it conditional would be a significant change in the standard practice for how presidential administrations respond to natural disasters in state. The disastrous scale of LA wildfire is not just staggering in terms of its sheer impact, but the threat posed by its continued expansion is also existential for the residents. As LA authorities scramble to contain the already blazing fires, the residents are looking at their leaders with hope for rescue and rehabilitation. The question remains, can Trump and the Democrats keep their differences aside in the face of the devastation faced by Californians at the moment? And shifting focus to India, where the late artist Husain has become a subject of controversy 14 years after his death. A court in New Delhi ordered the seizure of 2 of Husain's paintings deemed offensive. This after a complainant alleged that the paintings, which featured 2 Hindu deities, hurt religious sentiments. Over 100 Husain's paintings were displayed at the Delhi Art Gallery between the 26th of October to the 14th of December. The complainant said on X that on the 4th of December she photographed what she described as offensive paintings at the art gallery. She filed a police complaint 5 days later. The complainant claimed that when she visited the art gallery on the 10th of December, the controversial paintings had been removed. A petition was filed in a Delhi court to review the CCTV footage during the period when the paintings were reportedly on display. The Delhi police subsequently reviewed the footage and submitted its report to the courts. Now, according to Delhi Police's submissions to the court, the exhibition was held in a private space. The police's submissions added that the exhibition intended solely to showcase the artist's original work. The Delhi Art Gallery, or the DAG, which hosted the exhibition, denied any wrongdoing and said that at a police investigation found no cognizable offence by the gallery. Husain was one of India's biggest painters, but his art often stirred controversies in and beyond India. While Husain lived, he was denounced by many in India for painting Hindu deities in controversial states. In the 1970s, Husain painted nude depictions of religious figures. Those paintings were popularized in the 1990s. In 1998, Husain's Mumbai house was vandalized amid a row over the controversial paintings. In 2006, the artist was charged with hurting sentiments over portraits of religious figures. In the same year, Husain left India for London in a self-imposed exile. It was followed by Husain's public apology for his painting Mother India. It showed a nude woman kneeling on the ground, creating the shape of the Indian map. In 2008, India's Supreme Court refused to launch criminal proceedings against Husain amid widespread accusations of obscenity. The top court also refused to summon Husain to explain the context of his paintings. Delhi, the capital of India, has a rich cultural heritage that spans several eras. For centuries, artistic expression has found safe refuge in the city. As recently as last month, the author Salman Rushdie's much acclaimed and equally controversial book, The Satanic Verses, became a hot seller in Delhi's bookstores. This after decades-old ban on the book became ineffective. The resale of Rushdie's Satanic Verses in Delhi's bookstores was hailed as a critical moment for free speech in India. But now, with the seizure of M.F. Husain's paintings, the age-old free speech question is set to reignite a critical concern. In a free world, should artistic expression come with self-imposed limits? And our final story is about sparkling water. In the quest for weight loss, many have swapped out their sugary sodas for healthier alternatives like sparkling water. But could the fizzy drink actually do more than just satisfy your craving for bubbles? A recent study suggests that carbonated water might have a role to play in weight management. But don't throw out the gym membership just yet. Here's our report on the latest research about this bubbly beverage and its potential to help you shed those extra pounds.
We all know the drill. You're on a mission to shed a few pounds. So you swap your beloved sugary sodas for something more health-friendly like sparkling water. But can that bubbly water actually help with weight loss? Let's pop the top to find out. A new study published in the BMJ Nutrition and Health Prevention takes a closer look at whether carbonated water can do more than just replace the soda cravings, whether it can actually support your weight loss journey. The findings: it might help, but don't start celebrating just yet. According to experts, carbonated water may have some effects on blood glucose levels, and yes, this could potentially aid in weight loss. When you guzzle down fizzy water, the carbon dioxide in it enters your bloodstream. Then it's converted into bicarbonate. It is a base that helps maintain the body's pH balance. This in turn raises the pH in your red blood cells, allowing your body to use glucose more efficiently. So yes, the theory is that this could help burn fat. But don't expect to drop pounds just by sipping on your sparkling water. The effect is small, and let's face it, it's no magic potion. While the study focused on glucose metabolism, let's not forget that sparkling water is also known for its ability to fill you up. And we all know that feeling of being hungry every 5 minutes when you're trying to lose weight. Experts suggest that carbonation may help curb your appetite. It means you'll likely eat less at your next meal. It can also keep you hydrated, which is vital for metabolism. Experts also point out that for some people, the carbonation can help with digestion, hence making them feel less bloated and more inclined to stick to healthier eating habits. We've all been there, right? And while sparkling water may not be the magic bullet for weight loss, it sure beats those high-calorie sodas and juices that tend to sneak into our diet when we're not looking. But, and it's a big but, as with anything, moderation is key. Too much carbonation can lead to some unwanted gas and bloating. So, should you start replacing all your beverages with carbonated water in hopes of slimming down? Sure, if you enjoy the fizzy sensation and find that it helps with fullness, go ahead and make the switch. It can certainly reduce calorie intake by replacing sugary drinks, and staying hydrated is always a win. But remember, there's no magic bullet. A balanced diet, regular exercise, and mindful eating are still your best bet for sustainable weight loss. The bubbles may be fun, but they won't do the heavy lifting.
And that's all we have for you on the show for today. We will see you again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to First Post.
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines, detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight at 6 p.m. India time and 12:30 GMT, only on First Post.